You're at Zorga's with a bunch of... I'd just like to introduce you all to the new Adelaide CaveClan. Yeah, so Grimbo is the new leader of Adelaide CaveClan. Jim's Urbex is handling newbies. Bloke is going to handle... Treasury, yeah, that's a good one. And all these guys are just going to be, like, set up. They're going to set up awards nights and all fun stuff. So yeah, welcome to the Adelaide CaveClan. All right, let's go.
Hello, I am AI Morkel Dungoy. I have collected some audio of Predator to do a video tribute. What do non-clan people think of drains?
Drains are very much something that the city and its inhabitants tend not to care about. You know, it's out of sight. You know, it's just like all the other serious infrastructure that keeps them alive. They only know about it when it doesn't work.
Are the tunnels aesthetically rewarding?
Absolutely. I think it doesn't just occur in an underground place that you can see how, okay, someone's built a tunnel and they've had to route some cables along it, and then someone had to do a diversion, and, you know, all of these things have accreted. In fact, there are service tunnels around that you can do. You know, they've accreted layers of extra services on just because it was a nearby tunnel. And they really look kind of cool. You know, they look like no one's paid any attention to whether or not the light happens to come this way or that, or if the walls look beautiful. It just works, right? And that's kind of cool.
How did you find out about the CaveClan?
I used to sort of ride a BMX down stormwater canals, and, you know, I was exploring the tunnels upstream of those, and one day I was in a canal and I found this sticker that said, you know, interested in tunnels and drains, write to this PO box in Melbourne. And I thought, oh, you've got to be kidding. But so I wrote to them, and they sent me back this list of drains in Sydney that they'd found. You know, Melbourne drain explorers had explored all the stuff in Melbourne, and they come up with, you know, looking for drains in Sydney.
Mullet jocks.
Yeah, CaveClan.
Mullet jocks is awesome.
And up there back behind you.
Oh fuck, that's old.
2003 trip.
That's really old. I used to make them in 1990. I made that.
Fine. Good shit.
That's pretty cool.
All the way from here all the way to the road.
Happy birthday, Diesel. February 14th.
Hey, don't get this.
.com. Oh, sorry.
What are drains made out of?
Stormwater drains you tend to find are built from different materials depending on where, which city you're in when you're exploring them. Melbourne drains, for example, you tend to have a lot of bluestone and it'll be, arch-shaped. Sydney's littered with lots of sandstone, and so you tend to get that being used. Brick, red clay brick is also very widely used everywhere. I guess it was just cheap, and you tend to have that configured in an elliptical shape, so your pipe won't actually be circular. It'll be rather like an egg standing on its pointy end in cross-section. More modern stuff you tend to find is concrete, again because it's cheap and able to be mass-produced and in huge quantities, so that's what they make a lot of drains out of. Some of the more strange drains I've seen have had corrugated iron as their wall material. Possibly the oddest one I explored any time in the last decade was down in Melbourne, and it was made of black polyethylene. And it had actually warped under the load of the dirt on top of it, and that was a very difficult one to walk up because, of course, it's very smooth plastic with biofilm on it, so I was slipping all over the place when I was trying to walk up it.
Tell us something that scared the hell out of you.
No, I think the nastiest thing I ever found underground was a large amount of fast-moving air, which signified that there was a large amount of fast-moving water coming down the tunnel further upstream, so I left.
Did you ever come across other people while exploring?
You occasionally seem to come across, people in what you might term low-cost housing, i.e. abandoned buildings and stuff.
Wow.
And they're often sort of not particularly friendly that you sort of just walk into their home. Sometimes you'll just find people, mainly kids exploring drains, and they'll be very surprised that, 5 or 6 people with lights on.
Organised group, yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you bump into other people in drains who are a sort of little organised group, and there's always a these the cops sort of moment. You see these torches coming towards you.
Why did you do it?
Some people climb
climb mountains and some people drive cars past, but we go in drains and tunnels.
Can you just put Doug for me? I don't want to be Duggo anymore.
You get triggered like I get called Christopher.
People think I'm a bogan because my name's Duggo.
What made you start coming to Melbourne to explore?
I explore them in Sydney. There's not a great deal of really good tunnels up there, so I came down to Melbourne where there's lots.
Most people would think that a little strange. The person would travel from Sydney to Melbourne to get underground, and where it's muddy and slimy and smelly, and walk through underground tunnels and drains.
Well, I suppose they're entitled to their opinions, but I get a kick out of it.
Is going in drains dangerous?
Oh yeah, you've got to be aware of them. Forewarned is forearmed. We always travel in numbers that way. If any of us sort of fall down anything, well, we A, know where they are, and B, we can help them on the spot. Yeah, and of course, like Gilligan said earlier, we don't go in the drains if it's looking like it's going to rain. It's just asking for trouble.
Did you care that going in drains was illegal?
I'm not necessarily sure that the laws being broken in this case have any harmful effect on society. Coming in drains, I suppose, just it's dangerous and silly. The law is a law, this is true. Some of them aren't necessarily machined as well as they could be. If you're really keen, you'll do it, but otherwise, no, you won't.
Don't you think it's a little irresponsible for the young kids?
Perhaps, but isn't smoking irresponsible?
There's a cockroach and there's a, you see it, snail. So what happens is the snail and the cockroaches eat, they have like this war. So this is obviously like a gladiator of snails. And these cockroaches are like trying to build, waiting for more backup to come. And then they'll fight. It'll be awesome, but it might take a while till it happens. I've seen it before.
They're on the. Should we wait?
You want to wait? It could take, like the snail, if it happens, I don't know, it might take, I'll probably run out of battery, that's all. So we'll look at it on the way back. Yeah, cool. That's an interesting thing, you'll see it on Google it. Warring snails and cockroaches. It's really interesting. By the way, I haven't seen a cock and balls yet, guys. Bit disappointing. Come all this way. Your mum.
Me and Gilligan got in one time when I was
It's going to be pretty old, I reckon. Yeah, Dave. I don't have cock and balls.
Yeah. That's the. Oh my god. I'll leave my bottle of brine there on the way back. There's a wine. You got all this on the shrine, sorry. Good luck. Something.
Is this a drain guide?
This is the drain shrine right here. I can just give the money directly to Duggo though.
All drains will test you. I'm toy, you're toy, we are Australian.
What got you into it?
I've been going in drains for just ever since I grew up. I used to ride my BMX through stormwater channels, and I was doing that one day and I found a sticker from a bunch of people in Melbourne who were exploring drains, and they said, oh, do you want to go in drains? And I said, oh, yeah, okay, well. So I wrote to them, and it turned out there was this bunch of people in Melbourne called the CaveClan, and they'd been up to Sydney and they'd had a look at the drains, and I started looking around for more of them, and I've just been doing it ever since. It's about 8 years or so now.
What are some of the risks and dangers?
The fine, the last time I saw a sign that had a fine on it was about 7 years ago, and it was $20,000 then. I don't know what they've adjusted it for. There's that sort of risk. There's the risks involved with sudden rainfall, which we generally avoid by not going down on rainy days. There's other things as well. There's slippery sort of stuff, and waterfalls and things which, if you are not careful, you can fall down and sort of injure yourself. It's all the usual stuff.
What was your first drain?
First big one I did was in Beverly Hills in Sydney. It's called Sin City. It was big, and you'd get in there and be with your friends, and you didn't even bring a torch. You just drag your hand along the wall and hope that you didn't fall off anything. And that was a kind of a teenage sort of rush. And I just guess I never grew up. There's a little bit of boyhood testosterone in there as well. It's good to get scared for a while and then get out of a scary situation and go, I'm really glad I'm out of that.
What's one of your favourite locations?
I was quite impressed when I went down to Melbourne and first saw the chamber. You know, a big room, and I slept there for a couple of nights, and that's where we had the clannies in Melbourne. And it was terrific.
Is there anything you couldn't do?
Anything that involves sewerage, we just keep straight out of. It'd be irresponsible and stupid to do so.
What do you like about it?
Stalactites all over the place, and it changes shape all the time, and you come out miles from where you got in. And, that's pretty good. Coming up and not knowing exactly where you are. Just being there in a place that people rarely ever go.
Is there anything that you'd like to say before we finish up?
You want to get to the end of your life and say, I've had a fucking good time doing all of this stuff. And I know a lot of weird things about some of the infrastructure that holds the city together. And at the end, okay, I probably won't have all the nice stuff like the house and the superannuation and all that stuff. But I think it's more important to live your life rather than kind of live this other life in order to live a life when you're 60 and 70 and too old to really enjoy it.